Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Kiwoon Learning, and today, once again, we'll be going over the overall indexes through the ETFs like SPY, ticker SPY, as well as QQQ. Again, these two ETFs really cover the overall market sectors, just because, once again, they kind of weight throughout the overall market. These are also just basically mostly going to be educational trades. Me kind of just talking about my mindset heading into each trade as well as why I'm exiting in certain areas. Again, if you guys have any questions, to always leave them down below. But yeah, other than that, we also do have FOMC reporting basically what the Fed rate hike is going to be today. And this is going to be pretty big, right? Because right now we have been catalyzing based off of us hitting some kind of technical level. I'm really pulling back from it, right? So in theory, we continue to head lower, but once again, if we do get better than expected FOMC rates, we may see upside here in the short-term near future. But yeah, other than that, we also have really, really high implied volatility that will be happening today. Basically just meaning that contracts today will be very, very expensive. With that being said, yeah, there isn't terribly much else that I just want to cover over in terms of overall stuff, but um, yeah. Also, we have been seeing Apple being relatively strong as well. SPY kind of faked a breakdown yesterday and back into a consolidation now. I'm not expecting much in terms of price action today before FOMC. And really, once again, just expecting the 100 BP hike for when FOMC does eventually come out at 2 p.m. Eastern today. But in some greater overall news with the Federal Reserve here, um, the rates will approve a 0.75 percentage point mark hike, which is basically the highest Fed funds rate since the early 2008. The economic outlook of this really just shows that unemployment inflation has basically gauged by the personal consumption expenditures price index. There's also something called the dot plot as well as the terminal rate. So investors are most closely watching like the so-called dot plot of individual members' rate projections, roughly at 3.8%. Again, soon to be maybe even 4% higher here. But yeah, kind of the last thing kind of wrapping up what this article from CNBC is talking about is how the Fed will accept a recession in the name of inflation fighting. Basically, almost guaranteeing that if we're not in recession right now, we are very soon going to be in one. As well as the fact that even if we aren't in one right now, implied that we will be in one within the next 3 months. We also have mortgage rates, once again with housing, rising for the first time in 6 weeks, despite sharply highest interest rates. Once again, I mean, most of this macro stuff and most of the just news that's going on right now, it's just not great, right? Yes, we may see a little pop in how the overall market does in the next day or to the end of the week, but I mean, the long-term view of things right now is that they're not great, to be honest. I mean, we're most likely going to see continued downside. And just because we don't see downside right now, doesn't mean we won't get it. I mean, once again, SPY peaked at 431. I mean, we're talking about just mid-August, just a month ago. And we're down all the way at like 380 level right now, 385, 386. I mean, right now, what it's really looking like is, right, taking a dip, popping up, taking a dip, popping up, taking a dip. We might pop up a little bit once again, but it's really just a move to try to head lower here. So yeah, I mean, I want to say everything's great and that, but yeah, just overall not looking terribly great heading into today. But yeah. But yeah, we'll kind of just be waiting to market open here in 9 minutes. Well, yeah. We shall see, we shall see. Market opens in roughly 8 minutes here. But yeah, today should be rather interesting. Oh wow, I'm tired. Tree should be joining us relatively soon by any means. Dum 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 dum. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. See when tree is coming in. But yeah, 4 more minutes to open here. Alright, some other big news. So, it was quite the chop day. I'm talking about yesterday. Most names closing almost flat. Shocking to basically see that Apple was closing up 1.5%, while SPY closed down 1.2%. Really think Apple 100% kind of held the market up under doom yesterday. However, with SPY on the brink of losing 382 with Apple holding on by a thread, we're in a pretty dangerous zone. I think we see Apple dying by like midday. May also see overall market do as well. Like I said in yesterday's write-up, Tesla's showing an incredible amount of strength as well. Just be super cautious today when you're trading. FOMC data is releasing at 2 p.m. and we'll see 75 or 100 BPS. 100 BPS is better for long-term growth, but will result in drastic fall off the bat most likely. 75 will probably result in more of this 380 to 420 chop zone on SPY until the end of the year. Markets just overall, again, just being really choppy till then. But yeah. Once again, we'll see. But here's the open. Here we go. It's a coin looking to run as well. Here we go. Here is the open. I think puts are getting flushed out right now. Yeah. We shall see, we shall see. Ooh. Entire candle's getting eaten up, actually. Yeah, as a bear, or as a bull, that's not what you want to see. Again, kind of expectation is that we chop. So, I mean, yeah. That is the kind of theory as of right now. Just looking at implied volatility, we're at 82% on SPY. Oh my goodness. Yeah, some crazy stuff. Implied volatility that high. Yeah, that's insane. Wow, we are getting a lot of selling though. I mean, so to sell that much back on the single 5 minute right now. Impressive to say the least. Again, I think the amount of volume we're getting at open here is not high either though. We do have SPY flow coming in as well. Alrighty, 1 more minute to 5 minute candle close. We do have calls coming in actually. Some buyers at this level. At the 386 level more specifically. I think. Or 390, sorry. 390 calls are going for 1.65. I mean, I think they're trying to play it to the opposite side. I'm not necessarily trying to touch anything terribly early here. Still kind of waiting and see. Relatively decent selling though on this candle, that is for sure. Little touch of green, but yeah, 1 minute we're getting buy signals back again. Things are moving relatively fast right now though. It looks like we're getting like a lot of bait selling though, so it's like we're getting this move up after like a decent amount of selling, but I mean sellers are just right here, like right at it with buyers right now. And we retrace the entire candle. Pretty interesting stuff coming out in SPY. One thing to mention here, on this way up, we are getting decreasing volume. Again, this could just be overall volume that's decreasing as we kind of get out of open. However, this is generally not a good sign, so for buyers, I'm saying, to go long. So the idea that's kind of happening here is that you will have people that want to keep going onto the bullish side from at open. However, they kind of waited for this pullback, right? So they finally got their entry. However, when you finally get to the top of this candle and you're on low volume, what will happen is that you'll do a quick chop and then it most likely revert into a head lower into today's lows again. Once again, this kind of has to do with the amount of buying and selling there is. I don't think it's super likely that we get this move all the way back up, at least right now, back up to 386.70. Once again, decreasing volume on the way up, you don't necessarily have that same amount of buying to the upside as you did the selling on these three candles here. So, although the woman is a lot more tricky to trade on, it is still one that you can trade on. However, you just need to pay attention to how fast things are moving in terms of how we're going to sell off, as well as how we're going to pause. Again, we don't even get chopped there, we just kind of peek out at the top of the wick there into this move down here. But yeah, once again, to kind of just think about wicks, they're kind of used as fuel, right? So this fuel, you might be able to go one way or the other. But yeah, just something to think about as we kind of keep going here. Again, we are getting flow for like Apple as well as SPY. Again, the setup doesn't look necessarily ideal, but I mean, once again, Apple's just tearing up. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, even yesterday, just holding up the entire market. It is some pretty interesting stuff, I'll tell you that much. People want to call it market manipulation, people want to call it whatever it is, but I mean, there's some very, very impressive stuff coming out of SPY, or sorry, out of Apple, because the expectation is that as overall market dips, everything else dips, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But a lot of volume actually on, not necessarily selling side, just a lot of volume in general on that candle down. Once again, when you compare selling volume though, that's why it's just dangerous to trade right now. Selling just isn't that high, so I guess this is why we're reverting back up. Again, if we push higher than this, then we may make this move higher. However, I'm still kind of thinking about this idea about we're kind of tapping this top of the wick and kind of pulling back down into it. Once again, it's not like volume is anything crazy right now, but once again, it is pretty interesting to see how fast we are moving though. But yeah, pulling back under these wicks here. Oh. Okay, so even like Apple, I think there's flow for 162.5. 162.5, it's about $98 right now to go calls. Yeah, as a buyer here though, you do like this, right? We are getting those wicks which give us that range to move higher potentially. But yeah, I guess something to kind of just think about right now is that we are getting a lot of very consistently high volume candles, meaning that once again, we're gonna get relatively sorry, just need to check real quick. morning, Trey.
Hello. Dude, what? IV is like 80 something percent.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Guess we really have to wait.
Unfortunately. Yeah. It is looking like it is. It's pretty crazy.
Insane.
I know. It really is.
Just imagine if you swung calls last night or yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Like just one DTE. Your contract would just pump.
Yeah. That's true. Even though the move wasn't that big, it just IV is just sky high. Oh my goodness.
That's okay. After today, it'll be back to normal, right?
Oh, that is what the hope is, Tree. That really is.
Oh. Oh, but it's falling pretty fast.
IV?
That's 79 now. I think it was at 80 something.
It opened at 86.
Yeah. That, my friend, I am not touching.
Yeah, that's real.